Hello. I wanted to give you some strategies for approaching the Tubman book. So the first thing to think about or to point out to you is that the book is divided into two parts, right? Part one, the author calls the introduction, which I'm not really sure why she calls it an introduction because it's like nearly 100 pages and it's essentially a biography. And what I like about this biography is it's pretty easy to break up, right? She has all these subtitles. So, the first section is myth and reality. That's about a page. Then the next section tells you a little bit about slavery, what it looked like in Maryland. Running for freedom, escape is the next section. I mean, each section is really only like, a page or so. Next section is family life. So I like that you can kind of pick it up. You could tell yourself, you know what, I'm just going to read a section or two today and then put it down. So in that way you can kind of like chunk the reading. You can break it up, which I'd really recommend doing. Don't leave this book to week, 5, 6, whatever, to start reading it, because then you're really going to be pushed for time. And it is, it's not historical fiction. It's not a novel. So it doesn't read as quickly as a novel might. I still find it pretty interesting in the way it tells the story of Tubman's life and situates her within the larger history of the period. But I'm a little biased because I'm a historian. So you might not find it as quick as a read if you leave it to the last minute. So I think it is helpful that you can kind of chunk it like that. You could just read a section, put it down. And it's, again, unlike a historical fiction novel, you're not trying to remember characters or places and what have you. You can just kind of keep reading. Now, one of the things that the author does that's helpful in the biography, because there's two parts to this book. The first part is the biography, like I said, part one, the introduction. And then the second part, and that's the part that you're really basing your paper on, is part two is the documents, right? And that's 29 primary source documents. So this is documents from the people at the time writing and telling us about Tubman. And one of the things that the author does that's helpful in the biography is, as she's writing about various subjects, if there is a primary source that connects with that subject, she'll put it in parentheses. So let me find you an example where she does that. Okay, on page 5 of the biography, she's writing about Harriet's first attempt at escaping, but then notes that she runs with her brothers and they hid for a couple weeks, but then there was an advertisement that was posted for their return, and that frightened them enough to make them stop that escape attempt. And so she writes here, frightened by an advertisement posted for their return, her brothers insisted they go back. And then in parentheses, it says document 6. So if you flip to the second part of the book and you find document 6, that's on page 116. There's document 6. Of course, it's backwards because this is on a camera, but it's document 6. So one of the ways you could approach reading this book is you could just read all of the introduction, part 1, and then go through and read all of the documents, part 2. That would work totally fine. But what I might suggest for you instead is to read the first part, and then as you see those little parentheses, those documents in parentheses, flip to the second part of the book and read that document, because this biography is putting that document in further context for you. So the document will make more sense if you're reading it alongside the biography. She has, for the documents, it has like a little italicized section where she explains the document. So you'll have further explanation of it. But I think your notes might be more richer if you read the biography. Oh, look, here's the notes where she says go to document 6, and then go check out document 6. And then if you're making those notes while you're reading, when it comes time to write your essay, you'll have, the documents that you need to include. You'll have your notes there for you. All right. So again, some tips for approaching reading Harriet Tubman. Hope that's helpful. If you've got any questions, there's some discussion boards where you can ask some questions. You can always send me an email and we can meet via Zoom. Take care.